ask you, Mia, as the Chief Wellness Executive and Brand Officer advancing the well-being of people, planet, and communities, do you see that, Chief Wellness Officers are being appointed more frequently? We've seen companies, launch workplace wellness programs, as we mentioned earlier, that are programs. They were lip service, right? And as you said, everything was in place, but people didn't feel empowered to really own these programs. What significant and remarkable example have you seen since?
Sure. Well, after over the last several years, I've actually seen quite a bit. I would say a lot of my peer group shifted from being in hospitality, wellness, tourism, healthy lifestyle companies to Fortune 500 companies that started to prioritize the wellness and well-being of their own colleagues. And many of them started to, whether it was developing a program, which was, common, all the way up to establishing a department or a leader. And a great example was several years ago, Deloitte and Touche, major global consulting company, identified a chief well-being officer that started to look at this. PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, had a chief wellness officer. And I started to see this and looking at companies like Nike and Johnson & Johnson, some big companies out there that really started to establish people and roles. And then last summer, I will say during the heart of COVID, Forbes wrote an article about the rise of the chief wellness officer. And I saw it and I got up and I danced in my seat because I thought, yes, we finally arrived. People are starting to look at this seriously. And I've started to see it. I just saw an advertisement yesterday for a chief wellness officer's Emory Healthcare, which is a huge university and medical research system outside of Atlanta that's looking for one. I think we're going to see it more and more. I think we will see it for commercially for the development of products and services. I think we will see it internally to care for the well-being of colleagues. And the other thing I would say, future forward, which is why I talk about how we advance the well-being of people, planet, and community, is there's a convergence that's starting to happen with wellness programs, with inclusion and diversity, with sustainability, with the ESG goals that have been put out, from the UN that you were talking about, workplace wellness. I think that we're going to increasingly see some of these areas come together where we're shepherding the well-being of people, planet, community internally and externally at once. And it's going to touch a lot of these fields that have really an increased spotlight on it over the last year.
Such a positive outlook on what we've just come out of.
Absolutely. I think that's why I think COVID has been a catalyst for all things well. I think it's a great, as difficult as the year has been for so many, and with real loss, I think the gold that's come out of it is the new focus on wellness and well-being for us in so many different ways.